It's a pleasure to introduce our first expert speaker, Mr. Saurabh Karandikar. I request Advocate Mahesh Joshi, Joint Secretary of Mumbai Region, to please accompany Mr. Karandikar to the stage. Mr. Karandikar is a creative consultant, graphic designer, and UX designer with over 16 years of experience in the advertising industry. Dr. Karandikar is currently advancing his expertise in user experience through CUA certification at Human Factors International. His client portfolio includes marquee brands like Airtel, Colgate, Citibank, Taj Hotels, Tata Motors, Reliance, and many more. His work has earned him global recognition, including a Cannes Silver Lion and a D&AD Silver. I request Advocate Mahesh Joshi to please felicitate Mr. Karandikar. Please give a big round of applause for Mr. Karandikar. We all are eager to hear the expert speech of Mr. Karandikar. I'm sure we'll get a lot of insights from that. Thank you, Advocate Mahesh Joshi. I request you to please take your seat. Mr. Karandikar will enlighten us today about branding in the digital era. I would like to request sir to please enlighten us with your words of wisdom.
Hello. Areva. Okay. Thank you, BBN, for calling me here and giving me this opportunity to share whatever I have learned in last 32 years. Let me just check whether this works. It does. So I used to stay in Ahmad Seller building, Dadar. And as you know, when you stay in a Tsar, the entire Tsar is actually just like a Facebook page. Everybody's life is for you to see. And that was my first learning in advertising, which was supposed to be my first career afterward, but I was starting from there. And when I was in school, I was actually selling agarbattis and mangoes door to door. So you know that I was preparing for BBN from that time. So then I joined Balanatya, which is Ratnakar Matkari's theater group. आणि माझ्या आयुष्यात जे काय नाट्य आहे ते सगळं तिकडनं आलेलं आहे. Then I went to JJ School of Arts, JJ Institute of Applied Arts to be clear, and I learned graphic design and advertising. So from here I understood design, I understood empathy. So I have so far spent 16 years in advertising and 16 years in user experience, which is essentially making technology easy for people to understand. That's what I do now. So these are the number of clients that I have worked with, so number of brands that I was fortunate to work with. I was also fortunate to launch Airtel in Mumbai. So it was my creative that launched Airtel in Mumbai in 2001. Then I worked on Citibank for some time. I worked on Taj Hotels and created some advertising for them. But nowadays I create applications, mobile applications, desktop applications and like. So games and everything that Gen Z also enjoys at times. But identity, brand identity is something that has stayed with me all these 32 years, and I've been designing logos every now and then, regardless of which industry I was working in. You can see I'm speaking at Pune, so at least there is one logo that I have designed from Pune, which is Belvalkar Housing. I've also designed logos for companies, individuals and the like. And I've been privileged to have designed the flag for Maharashtra Navnirman Sena, working for Shri Raj Thakre, who was actually senior to me from JJ. So I've been working for him for this long. Now, having done all this, I am here only to talk to you and very, very short, as I have been instructed, to talk about the lessons that I have learned. So the first lesson that I have learned is everything is about fame. Fame opens doors for you. When people know you, things become easy. And there was Neil French, is one of our advertising legends internationally. He says that the best brief any client has ever given me is make me famous. That's how the brief should be. Don't try to do the design yourself. Just say, make me famous, and we will do it. Becoming famous is not that easy. This was in 1967 that Andy Warhol said that everybody will be famous only for 15 minutes in future. Wired magazine changed this in 2010, and they just said that on internet, everybody will be famous for 15 people. So all of us are celebrities, but only for 15 people. That's the problem. We need to increase that, right? The next lesson that I have is getting noticed is very tough. And I'll tell you how tough it is. All of us, on an average, our brains receive about 50,000 different messages in a day. Okay? And how many do you remember out of that? So there is this Miller's law which says that an average person can only remember 7 things at the end of the day. 7 plus or minus 2. So that means out of these 50,000 messages that I am going to receive in one day, I am going to remember only 7. So I have taken the trouble to make 50,000 dots, and I have colored those 7 dots over there. And that one is your brand message. That is the one which is going to be either remembered or totally forgotten. And that is only for one day. So next day, again, there are going to be 50,000 messages. Whose childhood is not scarred by Nirma in this place? Okay, we have been time and again listening to this as if it is hammered in our head, and now you know why they do that. Every single day they want to be in that 7, and that's why they are hammering you with those messages. Ganimi kawa, there is nothing else that can be done. You quickly come, make an impression, and get out. So 50,007, now you decide where do you want to be, in 50,000 or 7. Third lesson, making a lasting impression is even tougher than that. And the reason is that, making an impression, brand, the word comes from how cattle were treated, right? So this is how cattle branding happens, and then you know who the owner is. And people have been trying to do that by crystallizing your corporate policy into one single graphic design. And that has been, or design characters which will be more friendly with the people so that they remember you. And we have to make sure that we make that impression on our head. So how advertising works, just to give you a general idea, you talk to a lot of people, you catch their attention, but only few people are interested. Then even fewer people have the desire to purchase your product. And even less number of people have conviction about your product is right. And then even less number of people actually take action. So you know that it is very difficult. And what you need to do is very nicely outlined in this book called Positioning. That is my next lesson that I have learned, which is we have ladders in mind, and there are lots of brands which are there on ladders. Say, on this ladder, if I want to buy a car, then I am placing brands, and the reason that I am placing those brands is because those brands mean something, right? And whenever, this is for each of us. So we will have different products and different brands on our ladder, and the only one that wins is one which is on top. That's it. So Volvo, if it is very clearly safety, then it's very nice to create advertising for it. If you have Kit Kat, which is just standing for taking a break, have a Kit Kat, right? Very simple. So you don't have to even say anything, just show a break and then people understand. But the break changes its meaning as the technologies change. Pizza Hut, fresh, that's the brief that you can give your advertising agency, and then they can come up with interesting stuff. Colgate, strong teeth. मी आता 3 वर्ष काम केलं कोलगेटसाठी. खूप त्रासाचं असतं. मग दात छान होतात त्याच्यानंतर. So we did that. So which is like, strong teeth दाखवायचे कसे. So this was one of the stuff that my team did. Heinz, natural आहे. How do you say that we are natural? Just show it in a visual form. So branding is shaped by not just what you say in your advertising campaign, but how you behave in every single touch point that people have. How does that work? Okay, you have branded spaces that you can design. You can behave with your customers in a certain way that they do inside. But if you do it badly, then the backlash is very bad. सर, तुम्ही थोड्या वेळापूर्वी म्हणालात की ती जी कॉस्ट असते कॉन्सिक्वेन्सची, तीच तुमच्या प्रॉफिटपेक्षा जास्त व्हायला लागली की सगळ्याची वाट लागते. 2005 साली असंच काहीतरी झालं होतं. जेफ जार्विस नावाचा एक रायटर होता आणि त्यांनी डेल लॅपटॉप विकत घेतला होता. तो बिघडला आणि त्यांनी फक्त एकच केलं. ही रोट ऑन हिज ब्लॉग दॅट डेल सक्स, डेल लाईज, बिकॉज नोबडी वॉज रिअली हेल्पिंग हिम ऑन द हेल्पलाईन. अँड after he put this blog post over there, he got hundreds of replies saying even my laptop is bad. This costed Dell to lose market share on New York Stock Exchange, and this was so bad that they took about a decade to come back to their level of sales that they had. It was just one blog post. So any technology, today I am talking about branding in digital era. Digital era is changing very, very fast. We know that. The technology keeps changing. But there are some learnings that we have. Like आता लहानपणी जसं आपल्याला विचारतात ना, मोठा झाल्यावर काय होणार. So there was one uncle of mine who used to ask me, काय सौरभ, मोठा झाल्यावर काय होणार तू. So he used to say, just remember one thing. जितकी बटणं जास्त तितका पगार जास्त. I never understood this. म्हटलं म्हणजे काय तुला म्हणायचं. Then I realized he was working in customs and he possibly had 2 phones and all his very, very wealthy friends were all pilots. So they had jitki button jasta titka pagar jasta. So if you go by that, today's generation already has those many buttons in front of them. They're already thinking that they're very, very rich already. We all know how Gen Z behaves, so I don't want to talk about it anymore. But we have to design for them. We have to create brands which will get into their life. And how do we do that? We do that with social media. We use vehicles which will वणव्यासारख्या ज्या गोष्टी पसरतात. So that is exactly opposite of what happens in advertising as a funnel. So we do lots of things. We get to best practices in web design. We see how people watch a web page. We also see how people touch a phone. There are techniques and there are research techniques to find out these small things. इतकंच नाही, ही एक एक्सपेरिमेंट केली होती मेकॅन एरिक्सननी लंडनमध्ये. व्हॉट दे डिड वॉज दे क्रिएटेड अ फिक्टिशियस ब्रँड and they let people just look at these digital posters and they placed a camera to check their reactions. And they placed several creatives everywhere, and wherever they got nice reactions from people, they put that creative in the next generation of creatives. So finally, what final design goes out was decided by, in a sense, AI. But AI was fostered by people looking at the poster. That is where technology is now reached. We are getting into virtual environments. पण काही वर्षांपूर्वी मेटावर्स सगळीकडे असेल असं म्हटलं तर कुठे गेलं ते. NFTs, आपण त्याच्यातच फक्त ट्रेड करू, कुठे गेलं ते सगळं. So these things keep changing and brands have this pressure to be in every single place that your customers are. And that's a nice thing to do, but things keep changing. So what we need to see is really the hype cycle. Even today we are talking about AI. But I am hoping that hopefully we'll go from disillusionment to productivity in AI, hopefully, very, very soon. Our equipment has not changed. Technology changes, right? So the last lesson that I have here for you is, whether you call yourself a business which is B2B, B2C or B2B2C, we are actually talking to human. So you always remember that who you are talking to still sees every ad on the planet, still feels the same way about people, still has the same ambitions and same grudges that they have about other people. Now you have to navigate those waters and do the branding and leave an impression on you. Now you already have listened to 50,000 things today. I'm sure hopefully I'm going to be one of those 7s, but my chances don't look that good. Thank you very much.